At the beginning of January, I was among the first journalists to bring you a quick preview of new Panasonic TZ100. The camera looked very promising and now I got a production sample for a week to play with. I was very anxious to find out if this camera lived to its expectations and to find out if this might be the best travel cam of 2016. So let's take a look.
First of all, I'll talk about what's most important in any camera, and that's image quality. TZ100 has a big so-called 1-inch sensor. The same size is used in Sony RX100 models. The bigger the sensor, the better the image quality, and TZ100 is really good. It is a significant step above any other compact with smaller sensor. Images have great color and retain fine details. Of course, shooting in RAW format is recommended as always. Light mattering is very consistent. I almost never had to use exposure compensation. What's even better, bigger sensor performs better in low light, and I would say TZ100 is usable up to ISO 3200 on a regular basis. Maybe even above if you have a good control of light. That's some serious DSLR territory. In spite of that, I wouldn't call TZ100 a low light camera. Lens has a rather unimpressive aperture that goes from f2.8 to 5.9 and is not appropriate for low light use. The lens has 10 times optical zoom, what is the most anyone managed to pair with 1-inch sensor and still keep compact camera dimensions. It covers 25 to 250 mm in 35 mm equivalent and has optical image stabilization. You can control zoom continuously, in which case it is speed sensitive. The faster you rotate from dial around the lens, the faster it will zoom. There is also option to use step zoom. In this case, lens will stop at popular 35 mm equivalent focal length. As I said, aperture is small and even worse, it quickly falls when you zoom the lens. By 50 mm it is already at f4 and at 135 mm at f5.7. This is bad both for low light and for subject separation. Macro is quite good on this camera. It's not made for small bucks, but you can get quite nice shots of flowers or similar. Just keep in mind macro focusing range changes as you zoom, but camera always indicates how close you can focus. As for lens quality, it is generally okay, but far from perfect. Sharpness becomes progressively worse above 135 mm. This is the price we pay for high zoom range in compact body. This is not a deal breaker for most users, but keep in mind that this is not the camera made to perform perfect at high telephoto. It is impressive how Panasonic managed to combine 10 times optical zoom with 1-inch sensor in such a small camera. It weighs only 330 grams and really fits almost anywhere, making it ideal travel and carry anywhere camera. It is not exactly small, but it will easily fit any coat pocket. Overall build quality is okay, but materials are way too slippery. There is no rubber on the grip nor the thumb rest, a really weird choice. My experience tells me this camera must always be secured with wrist strap. It is way too easy to drop it otherwise. Controls are easily accessible, but most buttons are too small. This is constant problems on cameras as small as this one. 3 inches LCD has 1 million dots. Viewing angles are perfect and images look extremely sharp and detailed on this LCD. It is touch sensitive, but I quickly turned it off. On camera as small as this one, it was too often I touched something accidentally. What is weird, there is no touch shutter option like on Canon cameras. You can only focus with touch interface, but need to press physical shutter button to take a shot. Electronic viewfinder is placed at the left camera corner like on rangefinder cameras. This is perfect layout for framing with right eye on finder and with left eye free to scan environment. Sadly, electronic viewfinder is bad. It is extremely small and has low resolution, 1.1 million dots. Since it uses field sequential technology, meaning it quickly cycles between red, green and blue pixels, it suffers from RGB tearing effect. Small rainbows are visible in viewfinder when you move eyeball, what can be quite irritating. Diopter adjustment does not have enough range. That will be a problem for anyone using contact lenses or prescription glasses. Altogether, I avoided using electronic viewfinder as much as I could. Video quality is practically perfect. 4K looks extremely detailed with no artifacts and really balanced colors. Even in low light, when some noise artifacts appear, still looks very nice. Single 4K video file can be exactly 15 minutes long. I tried. After that, camera stops recording, but you can start new video clip right away and record another 15 minutes. 15-minute 4K video will consume 10 GB on memory card, so keep in mind you will need a lot of memory. 1080 video at 50p can be 20 minutes long and 1080 at 25p around 27 minutes for a single file. If you choose to use AVC HD file format, it will allow you to record 1080 at 50p up to 29-59 minutes. No matter what setting you use, single video file is limited to 25 minutes 59 seconds in length, what is typical for still image cameras. Camera does get a bit hot during prolonged 4K recording, but not to the level I would ever be concerned about it. There is one thing though I need to point out about video on this camera, and you will not be pleased. TZ100 does not record video with full sensor surface readout, but crops it depending what resolution you use. In 4K, camera will effectively zoom from 37 to 370 mm. In 1080 resolutions you will get 31 to 310 mm. That's a shame, since 25 mm wide angle would be splendid to use for video. Panasonic TZ100 has both mechanical and electronic shutter. You can control them manually or let the camera to decide which one to use. Together they allow shutter speed from 60 seconds up to 1/16,000th of a second. When used in electronic mode, camera is completely silent, but even mechanical shutter is barely audible. Listen to this. There is also silent shooting mode, which when enabled turns off all camera sounds and both flash and autofocus assist lamp. Rather nice feature when you want to take images and keep low profile. Continuous shooting is available at 10 frames per second in full resolution and 6 frames per second with constant autofocus. There is also super high burst, but only 5 megapixels and in JPEG format. Bracketing allows maximum of 7 frames at 1 exposure value step, more than enough for all HDR lovers. ISO ranges from 125 to 12,800. In auto ISO mode you can select upper ISO value, but not the shutter speed at which it will change. It is also not linked to focal length. That's something that could be easily upgraded in some future firmware update. Autofocus is extremely fast. In daylight practically instant. The camera offers a range of focus point configurations and sizes for you to play with. I prefer using single point, which can be easily changed in size to accommodate any needs. Manual focus is easy to control. Once you engage it, dial around the lens controls focus. Focus magnification helps to pinpoint focus, and you can select magnification to cover entire frame or just the central part of it. 4K photo mode is something I explained in details in my FZ300 review. This time I will repeat only basic principle. TZ100 records 4K video and then allows you to extract any frame and save it as a JPEG file. This way you effectively get 30 frames per second burst at 8 megapixels. Quite usable. Good thing is that you can take a still image from any video. You don't need to be in 4K photo mode to benefit from it. Post focus is the new feature introduced with this camera. The camera records 4K video cycling through all the focus points, focusing on everything in the frame. Later you can pick an image with best focus and save it as separate image. Battery is a lithium unit capable of around 300 shots on a single charge. It is recharged using supplied external adapter, just like the one used for smartphones. Standard SD memory cards are supported. Be sure to use ultra high-speed free cards in order to record 4K video. Tripod mount is too close to battery card compartment. When on tripod, it is impossible to change battery or memory card. Built-in flash is good enough for family usage. It can be slightly tilted upward for bounce. Here's an example how much better images look with bounce flash compared to direct lighting. Right side has two connectors. Micro HDMI output and micro USB used for connecting to PC and charging the battery. Finally, Panasonic decided to use standard micro USB instead that weird proprietary connector on many previous models. Quick menu is the same as on any other Panasonic cameras, easy to navigate and filled with most important settings. Main menu has quite a few options, but not too much like Sony RX100. It is much easier to use Panasonic. Here are some of the more interesting menu items. There are 4 aspect ratios and they are available in both JPEG and RAW format. There are time-lapse and stop-motion options if you feel like playing with them. Histogram can be positioned anywhere in the frame. There is also zebra pattern for advanced video users. Monochrome Live View gives you black and white preview, but images and videos are recorded in color. Controls can be customized separately for recording and for playback. Playback is fast and easy to use. Even with RAW files, camera cycles extremely fast through images. Good deal of controls can be customized. Here's how I set up this camera. I assigned direct exposure control on upper dial. FN1 button controls autofocus point position and size. FN2 controls image stabilization. FN3 was left to its default function, and that is quick menu, as is the case with FN4, which controls electronic viewfinder and LCD. Zoom lever around the shutter button controls step zoom, and the dial around the lens controls zoom in normal continuous way. So to sum things up, TZ100 is definitely an excellent camera. Image quality is very high both in daylight and low light conditions. 4K video is superb. 25 to 250mm lens is very versatile and has good macro capabilities. Besides standard automatic shooting mode, which requires nothing more of you but to mindlessly press shutter button, there is a complete set of all manual controls both for still image and video recording. LCD is great and autofocus is fast, and there is a very effective image stabilization system. All this is packed in a truly pocket camera. Still, TZ100 is not perfect. Electronic viewfinder is really disappointing and the lens does not deliver perfectly sharp results when zoomed in. But finally, if you want 1-inch sensor, 4K video, 10x optical zoom and all that in compact size, there is no other camera except this one. From this perspective, this really is the best travel cam of 2016 and deserves my recommendations. Just when I was editing this video, another Panasonic travel zoom arrived in my hands, and this is TZ80. It looks very similar to TZ100 but has significantly longer optical zoom, 30x. Sadly, it uses smaller image sensor but still has 4K video mode. It is more affordable, and if you think this might be the camera for you, stay tuned as I will publish TZ80 review in 10 to 15 days. But one thing I can tell you right now, and it regards image quality. TZ80 is nowhere near TZ100. If image quality is important, TZ100 is the only way to go.
That's all for this review. I hope I gave you usable information. If you have a question, feel free to ask me in the comment section below. If you want to support my work, buy stuff on Amazon using affiliate links below this video. You will not pay any more than otherwise, but I will get a small percentage from every purchase. Thanks for watching.